Hey, 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 we're live and it's Bloody Mary week.
Yay.
All right, I made Bloody Mary mix, and I got to tell you, let's first hold our colors, our jars up. So there we go. Now, here's the truth. Let's be honest. Did you make it
I did.
or
I
did you
did.
buy it?
No, I made it. I did make it. I played with it. I had left it alone and then I decided to play with it this weekend. And my base, because I did ask a chef and I asked a past bartender,
Okay.
what's your recipe to get their idea? And both of them said, use V8 as your base. Do not start just with tomato juice.
Ah,
So starting with tomato juice is okay. However, you have to add so many more ingredients. You have to add the basil and you have to add the oregano and you got to add the celery. You got to add all these other things. And when you start with V8, it already has all the vegetables
it does.
that is already part of it that just gets you with a good base
But
to
but
start.
that was supposed to be part of the craft. Was you adding what flavored your taste to?
And I did. So I added salt, I added pepper, I added celery salt, I added horseradish, I added the Worcestershire sauce, I added lime juice and lemon juice, and a little bit of Tabasco in there. Oh, and then of course I added a little bit of tahini.
Okay.
This is kind of my go-to on all sorts of different things. So that's what I did with mine, and just kind of played with it and added a few extra things. And then, of course, it's all about the food. So I prepped a bunch of different things of food because
I
I've
prep
been,
I prep my cups with my food already in them.
oh, I love that. I love that. Mine is all here. So here's my food.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is going to be fun explaining this week. So, okay.
Oh,
Now, here's the myth I want to know about Bloody Marys. All right. When you make your Bloody Marys, do you put it in the mixer, add ice and vodka, and then shake it up and pour it in? Or do you just pour your mix and add your vodka? How do you do yours?
well, I add the vodka. Well, depends on what I'm making. So I can either add a vodka. I used Tito's this time. I brought it in.
Mm-hmm.
You can do gin.
Yeah.
If I want a Bloody Maria, I have my tequila. And if I want a geisha, I have some sake here. So there's a lot of different things. So I usually pour it in first and then I pour this on top. So I don't actually mix it in a mixer. I mix it in the glass because then you're kind of mixing and, doing your thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a bartender. If you ask a bartender will do a heck of a lot better than I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I have, all right, this is the one we've been trying to tell you about from Texas. I have our Dripping Springs vodka to put in mine, but I also have my Climax Moonshine to make a Moonshine Mary.
That's right. I love it.
And yeah, I know we're doing this on camera. You cannot legally get this. And I have a little bit left that is not Tim Smith's Climax Moonshine. That's all I'm going to say. It's not Tim Smith's. That's all. I'm not going to say whose it is, but it's not Tim Smith's. All right.
Okay.
I usually put mine in the shaker, put the ice in the shaker, and I shake it, and then I add it to the cup with the ice.
Okay.
That's how I usually do mine. All right, because then I keep the ice melting into it. Now, my mix today I made with my new juicer. Mine is not looking kind of red, is it? I used 4 tomatoes, 16 grape tomatoes. All right. Then I used it was actually it was 10 stalks of
Celery.
2 scallions.
Oh, okay.
All right. And I was going to add a pickle and peppercini, but I didn't. I used a green pepper. I should have used my red pepper
Oh, to
instead.
give it a little bit of sweetness in there and
Yep.
color.
Yeah,
So
and color it. Yeah, I should use the red pepper instead of my green one. All right. And that's all that is in the mix. And it's all gone through to a juicer. So it's juice. That's I did it within the past. Oh, it's got to be within the past 45 minutes I've done it. So
Okay.
It still has the foam onto it, but when it came through the juicer, it was this much foam,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it's still settling. And then as it was settling with the foam, this is green, and this very little bit is red. Now, one of the things I did add after that wasn't in the juice thing, and I didn't add salt, pepper, garlic, lime. I didn't add any of that this time.
Oh, I did add garlic to mine also. That was another
Yeah.
thing. Yep. Okay.
I did add to the juice after it was done some of my Tabasco sauce, which is your pepper sauces that I like a pepper sauce. So and I added to that. And then I juiced it, and I said I should have done the juice probably about 2 hours ago. All right, and let it settle, but I didn't. And I think if I probably let it settle. Now I've only taken a slight taste of it to see what it was going to be like. Normally I make mine before I had a juicer. All right, I would normally make mine with the tomato juice.
Okay.
Instead of V8, I would add the celery salt, the garlic salt. I would add basil, oregano. All right, and then I would add my pepper sauces, and I might even put in that. I've been known to add a sriracha sauce to it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, because it's a little bit thicker and it gives it just a slightly different hint of
a little better texture onto it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's usually what I would do. All right. And then usually putting it in, I would usually add salt and pepper to it after I've shaken it. But I
Okay.
didn't even bring any salt and pepper up here tonight. But I do have both of my shakers, so I can mix two different, but I'm probably just going to use the one shaker tonight
Okay.
and mix mine with my dripping springs that you have yet to taste. So
Right. Well, I brought out the sake because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with if I want, because you always want to go with the traditional vodka. And then I was debating. I'm not a big gin drinker, although I will do this gin botanist, which is super yummy. So I was debating: do I want botanist gin or sake? So which one do you think?
I think here's what I think, because I have the moonshine, all right, and we both are going to do it with our vodka first,
Okay.
because we kind of can tell you the taste of it, but then we can go off of the traditional vodka one and we can talk about tastes. And now we're both going to know what direction we're going.
Okay.
All right. For instance, I know from doing them before, the Tennessee or Moonshine Mary is a sweeter drink because it's corn. The sweetness of the corn makes it sweeter as opposed to the saltiness of the vodka.
Okay.
All right. So that's why I want to see what you come up with on taste.
All right, sounds good. So I decided to go with Tito's vodka on this one because, to bring a little bit of Texas out here. Plus, I like Tito's. And so what I'm doing is on mine is that I am salting my rim with some Tequila. Some individuals will use Old Bay and salt or just salt or none. I like a little bit of tahini because it gives it a little bit of a citrusy kind of, it punches you right back here. So that's how I'm doing this one. The other thing that a lot of places will do is they will do a beer chaser. I left my beer at home, so I have Steel Reserve. So I did bring, and then I brought my cute little glass to go with it. So I did bring the glass, didn't bring the beer. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to do a smaller pour just because I have the smaller glasses. I don't have the tall glasses with me because I only made essentially 2 cups. This was my big jar that I mixed everything in, but I wanted it to look pretty for a presentation. So I moved it into this guy. But we're going to start with a little bit of...
So are you gonna shake? So what I did was when I shook my Gladys, I actually turned my mic off while I'm shaking it so that rattle didn't come. All right. I know you can't reach your microphone, but I can. Can I mute? I can mute you if you want to, if you're going to do it in the shaker or you're not.
No, that's okay. So
right. Let's talk about what you're putting in. So
I put in the Tito's vodka and then my mix in there. On the edge, I use my lime for the edge, and then I put my tahini, because I have my little plate over here. I didn't fill it all the way up. I guess I could add more of the tomato juice in there.
I use more. I don't do it quite a full like that because I use more vodka in mine than I do. Than you probably do. Yeah.
So I have a bit of food because for me, a Bloody Mary it's almost a meal when you add additional things to it. So here I have, you're gonna laugh at me.
It's
I
okay.
have chicken and waffles. I have
Okay.
I have bacon. I have had one that had a slider on here, literally a slider, and then bacon. It was really delicious. I also had one that was from the Best Tail in Portland at the Hawthorne something house, which was a claw. So instead of the lobster claw, I did shrimp with
Oh,
tomatoes and cucumber and cheese and olive with garlic in it. So this is a garlic stuffed olive.
okay.
And then I made another one that was just your basic traditional cheese and tomatoes and the olives with pepperoni and salami at the end.
Oh,
Uh,
I never thought about pepperoni and salami. Yeah.
yeah, so I did that at the end because a little bit of protein. Most places will put in a cucumber, excuse me, a celery stick, but you can also. One time I was in Chicago, they put in a pickle spear,
I
and
put
then
both.
yeah, there you go. You
I
can do
put
both,
both.
the whole thing, or you can just go with a cucumber. So you have various options. The great thing about if you do like a celery stick or the cucumber, whatever it is, you
It
can
becomes,
then take the
oops,
skewer.
it becomes your stir. Of course,
Yep, you can either put it
yeah,
through.
my skewer is a lot less stuff on it. So
Yeah. So you can just put it on the top so that it looks really pretty like that. And so you got your
okay.
garnish, you got your colors. I mean, look at yours. Yours is adorable. I love your top and
All
everything.
right,
So,
now, yeah, now I'm gonna go through what I did because this is I use a basic. We do this every time we do a Bloody Mary. I got beef jerky. Usually I
oh,
use Slim Jim because again it's another stir.
right.
All right, and I have a peppercini.
Oh, yum.
All right, an olive, just a regular pimento filled olive.
Okay.
I actually have been to places where we had the bacon strip, all right, or the Slim Jim when we were in Wisconsin.
Ooh,
Maybe really
yes.
get into that.
Uh-huh.
San Francisco, I had it with bacon, but I have always put, and I don't know whether this is just me or not, scallion, like an onion, scallion onion.
Oh, wow. I had never thought of putting a scallion in there.
I'm always looking for my Bloody Mary. I want the thin inner celery with
Oh,
the
yes.
with the
Yeah.
leaf on. The flavor in here is almost like your celery salt flavor, is
Okay.
why I've always gone with that. And then I have a dill pickle spear. I will not use
Oh,
sweet pickles. I will use dill.
yeah.
All right.
Yum.
And then I've got my first one mixed up. I don't have any straws though. I should have brought a straw up.
I know. I didn't bring a straw either, so I'm gonna have to move my food out of the way. Um, I also added the lemon and the lime little wedges in there because
Uh-huh.
some people want to add a little bit more in there, so they can add it and then just pop it in, give it a little bit of a stir in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is nice and thick. If I had put some ice in here, this would definitely thin it out ever so slightly, which is okay. It
Okay.
truly is okay. So with the Tito's, it tasted really good and mm, the tahini definitely gives it that little tang.
Mine can use salt. Again, I went off of a juicer recipe that I had for making it from with a juicer. I'm making mine's fresh vegetables. My Bloody Mary was a bag of fresh vegetables an hour ago.
Wow.
Well,
So it was Bernard Petiot. He's the one that claims to have invented the Bloody Mary back in 1934. So, which was a refinement in his thoughts to George Jessel's drink in New
yeah.
York. So he sees himself as the modern Bloody Mary. But truly, people have done so much with it that, it's you change it up to your taste. So what is it that you like? I mean, I love tons of food on mine. I mean, I've had it with sliders. So for me, it's that pairing of the food with the Bloody Mary and a good, breakfast or lunch or dinner, whatever it may be. But I traditionally prefer it with breakfast.
Yes. Oh, where is it that you've gotten like your pieces to add to your food onto it? Where is it that you picked up your inspiration for each?
So the shrimp one, I got it from that restaurant with where I wanted the lobster claw, and I couldn't get a lobster claw, so I said shrimp. The this one, this little skewer that has the tomatoes and the cheese and the meat at the end. This one and the beer chaser. The inspiration was from Rams. They're a local restaurant. There's multiple ones. They're a chain. And they have their skewers already made, and they pull it out when you order a Bloody Mary. The chicken and waffles was like one of those things that we were talking about, chicken and waffles, because one of my friends is in LA, actually probably coming back today. And it's like, where should I go? We're going to be in the Hollywood district. And I'm like, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Mm-hmm. So I've had Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in my head. So hence why I opted to do a modern style chicken and waffles, which was just from Safeway, Kroger, if you will. I got the chicken strip, and then it was I cheated and I got a frozen waffle and threw it in the microwave, not in the microwave, in the toaster oven, or in the toaster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But oh my goodness, I love seafood with this.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was playing with it, I think I added too much horseradish or something, because I was trying to measure it. And then I first I was like, you know what? Let me just get the flavors. I'll get the measurements later. And Sean tasted it and said, it tastes like shrimp cocktail. Because my shrimp cocktail consists of ketchup, horseradish, lemon, and a little bit of Tabasco. So okay. I think the horseradish just kind of came up a little bit stronger, and so it ended up tasting a little bit like. So I had to adjust it, add more of the juice in there to balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So the food is what's adding the flavor to mine. My mix by itself, because I went with juice only, I didn't add any of my spices to it. It's kind of bland. It's kind of a bland taste.
Oh.
So
if you had added a little bit more salt, do you think that would have made it?
Yeah. I think salt, pepper, probably a little lime, maybe a squirt of Worcestershire sauce.
Mm. So consider it a skinny Bloody Mary mix.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, mine is pretty thick. Mine is pretty thick.
Well, to me, a Bloody Mary mix should be thick. It should be a sauce or a syrup, not a sauce.
Yeah. And so I will tell you, yesterday I got to see a friend I hadn't seen in over 2 years. She lives down in Sutherland, which is about 2.5 hours from here. So I don't see her as often. She used to be up here all the time. And she's all, we got to get together. So we met up at a restaurant here in Wilsonville, and I ordered a Bloody Mary because it was 11 o'clock in the morning, or just past. It was at this point 11:20 by the time we ordered. And I thought, Bloody Mary sounds good. The moment she set it down, the color was not right.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel with mine tonight. I really feel my color's not right.
Yeah, you expect this rich red. When you say Bloody Mary, it's a rich red. Hence why I'm wearing red today, because Bloody Mary, got to wear red. And it was kind of this discolored, off-color, didn't look right. But, it took a sip. It's bland. So I shook it up, bland, added the lime in there, bland. And I'm like barely drinking it. And then I'm going, this is just the worst. I had just said, this is the worst Bloody Mary I've ever had. It just has no flavor. Our server comes back and she says, oh, how are the drinks? And I'm like, the worst Bloody Mary I've ever had. I said, I was like, and it just came out because I just said it. And I go, there's no flavor to this. And she goes, can I get you something else? I said, yeah, a good Bloody Mary. And so she says, I'll take it back. So she takes it back, gives it to the bartender, comes back a moment later and says, yeah, they didn't, because they make their own mix. And apparently somebody knew, either didn't do it properly, whatever it was not their mix.
Yeah.
And the bartender said, yes, it was bland. And yes, it did not have any flavor. She goes, we're going to get you a new one. I was like, okay. The moment she brought it out, she's like bringing out the drink, and I could see the color was this rich red with a little bit of speckles of the white horseradish. And I was like, yes. Took a sip, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a Bloody Mary. Do not be afraid.
The other thing I could have added to this, to really, if I would have tasted it more but I've been at a conference working all weekend, so I really, since Wednesday, so I really didn't get time to prep this, other than today. And if I'd have prepped it ahead of time, the other thing I could have done was I probably could have added some ketchup to the mix, and that would have put the thickening to it and given a more tomatoey flavor with the ingredients in ketchup.
I was thinking I was this close to adding tomato paste.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking of, but you're right. The little bit of ketchup, that would have thickened it and given it a little bit of that sweetness, a little bit of salt in there. It probably would have changed the flavor just a wee bit.
Yep.
But once
you know what I can do?
What's that?
Something that'll be a first on our show.
Are you going to blend a little bit more in there? Are you going to run down and?
You're going to mix yours up with gin. I'm going to put you on full screen, and I'm going to make a quick kitchen run.
Perfect.
Bring back some additives to add to the recipe.
Perfect. All right. That works. Okay, y'all. So when you are making your Bloody Mary, you normally want to have something on the rim. You could make it without anything. Yeah, you can. But what's the fun in that? It's about making it look pretty. So grab yourself either lemon or lime. It doesn't matter. Just rim it. And then here what I have on a little plate. You can buy some of this stuff at Kroger, and they have the Bloody Mary dry rub in there. I use tahini. I love this stuff. I mean, I put this stuff on a lot of things. It's mainly for fruit, but you can put it on fish. You can put it on drinks, soups, whatever you want. So then just dab it around. How thick do you want it? If you want it thicker, then just go down a little bit further and go on the side of it. Or, if you just want a nice thin, then just, go like that. Ta-da, there you go. So now that you have your glass, you have multiple ways of doing it. Like Tim, you can put it in a shaker. I do have a shaker. It's, I don't use it all that often, but if you know your pours, you can either pour by count, pour by sight, or have a little shot glass, and that way you can have a true measurement of your 1 or 2 shots, whatever it is that you're doing. In this case, I am using the Botanist Islay Dry Gin. I'm not a big gin drinker because all those botanicals, even though I love botanicals, not in a gin. It's just too elderberry-ish, if you will. This one, the flavor of this one or the smell of this is just a little different. This is one that I actually would drink on its own, over a couple of ice cubes, on the rocks. But the writing is raised. So I'm just going to pour probably not quite a shot, and that's okay. Sometimes I like to serve myself a little bit just so that I can serve myself a little bit more. And then if you want to add more lemon or lime to it, you can certainly do that. You can grab your lime. You can do it afterwards, or you can do it right now. That's okay. And just the lime in there, squeeze, let it drop. There you go. Now you can add make sure your tomato is mixed, because a lot of times things do settle. This one's not settling too much, but you still want to mix it. So here's a good mix, right here. This is not that much, so I'm doing a little bit less, but then you pour it in there, and it's all about your color in there. Oh, I need to get a little bit more because it's not a whole lot in there. And I don't want to mix it in with the other because the other one has vodka in it. So just a little bit more in there. And you can see the gin rising. If you look straight into the glass, you see this like water over it. It's the gin that's rising. So that's why a lot of times when you have a drink, it depends on when they poured it, you may not taste it, and that's why you have to mix it. So then get whatever it is that you're going to use. On, in this case, I'm using a pickle or a cucumber, excuse me. I'm using my cucumber this time to shake and stir. I'm stirring, not shaking. There's a difference between stirring and shaking. This is a stir. A shake is when you do it in the jar. And then you can leave it in there, and then you can add your food. In this case, I can add chicken and waffles in here. And there you have your little drink with a little bit of freshness in here, a little bit of, and you can, what you can do with this one is pour just a little bit of a good uh, syrup on top of it, just enough, not too much, because you don't want it to be dripping into your Bloody Mary. You just want it enough to have it absorb on the waffles, on the chicken, and just give it that little bit of flavor. Or you can even do a little chili sauce. If you use a chili sauce, it gives you a little bit of sweetness, but then the spiciness, which if it does drip into your Bloody Mary, it's just going to add to it. But just use whatever you have as a stir to keep yourself, from just drinking just the tomato or just the gin. You just want to get those flavors. So the reason that I use the cucumber in this case is because of the utilizing the gin. I want those aromatics to come out. I think that if I put a pickle in there, it's just going to take away from the gin. So I want the gin to be the star here. And adding a pickle is just going to take away from it. So that's why I went with the cucumber instead, to tone it down, give it that freshness, and allow the gin to be a gin.
So with the gin, and with this recipe, compare the taste using your traditional vodka one. Compare the taste. What does it taste? What's the taste difference? Where does it go? And what tastes different?
Oh, okay. Let's see. The gin is a little bit tangier.
Okay.
It's got a little bit more of a bite.
So it's like the alcohol has a bite, or does
Yeah.
it put a bite to a certain flavor in the Bloody Mary?
No, I think it's the bite from the gin. I think the all the florals that are coming through just kind of give it that it kind of blends with the tomato and just give it a little bit of a kick. Because I didn't put that much spiciness into the Bloody Mary mix, because I wanted to taste the Bloody Mary mix, and I wanted to taste the alcohol that's in it, not so much the spice. And just with the spice, I think it would have taken away from it. So let me cleanse my palate.
Okay.
I'll get that.
So what I did before I changed up my entire batch, I took what was left in the bottom of my shaker, and I because I can calculate that, and I did my twists and adjustments. Some things that I brought up I couldn't find Worcestershire sauce. Apparently, we're out.
Oh,
Was I added some ketchup?
okay.
I added some sriracha,
Okay.
and then I added salt and pepper, which we have salt and pepper by the stove, just like this, and grains
Right.
you can add. So, and I want to show you the difference in look.
Wow, look at that color.
That how the color pop. Now I didn't go like I maybe a half teaspoon of half teaspoon of ketchup. All right, and then the sriracha, 2 brighter reds. That's going to give it the color. Let's see how it does on the taste.
All right, let's get your taste in there. You're going to be so much happier. You're going to go, yes.
Whoa. So it takes my tomatoes and makes them a fruitier.
Okay.
Not a saltier, a fruitier. Like
Oh,
a
nice.
sweeter, fruitier taste to my tomatoes. But then I got a bite on the sriracha.
Okay.
But the salt is the main thing. I'm telling you, because the salt made the difference in adding flavor to it. It was a bland taste.
Did you add any celery salt to your original? Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, you had so much celery in there that you didn't need any more celery salt.
I had like the core center of a celery stalk.
Mm,
That's
okay.
my mistake.
Oh yeah, that really would have. Yeah, this is quite interesting. I've never had a gin Bloody Mary.
Wow.
That is it truly does give it a little bit of a kick. It gives it a little, almost like a what came to mind was a bell peppery. It's almost like it's almost that bell pepper, the green bell pepper consistency, not the red where it's sweet. It's more of that green where it's a little bit more. Um, oh, what's the more of a garden flavor?
Yeah.
So I have more of a garden flavor in here.
Which I put the green bell pepper in my mix, and I should have put the red bell pepper in. Because I would have gotten the same flavor, but I would have kept my color different.
This is quite interesting. Adding a little bit of gin in here. It's definitely and I think it's the a red snapper is what the Bloody Mary with gin. So Bloody Maria, a geisha, and this is a red snapper, which is quite interesting because a lot of times it's there's a Bloody Mary in the name of it. In this case, it's the red snapper because I think that's what it is. It snaps. It gives a little something something, and then it's red. So this is pretty good. I like it. It gives especially for somebody who doesn't like gin. Very specific on my gins, and this is one that I'm like, okay, I can handle this. This is a 46% alcohol by volume. My Tito's was 40%.
Look how my color changed by adding to my.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Yep.
Now I'm not as red as yours still. I'm still a little orangish, but I have an almost empty bottle of ketchup.
And you have more flavor to it. You will, depending on what they put into the Bloody Mary, it may not be as bright red, but most of the time you will get that brighter red. Sometimes it'll be more of a brick red. It just depends who's making it and how they're making it.
Yeah, by using ketchup to twist my color red and add more sauce to it, I'm getting the sugars and stuff from the ketchup. So that's what's going to affect my taste. So anyway.
Now I have somebody made fun of me about chicken and waffles. How could I eat chicken and waffles? It's actually pretty darn good.
Why not? Hello. Allow me a minute to slip into my rinsing sink.
That's pretty good. I did almost get a whole thigh or a leg, and I thought that's a little much. So I just got one of the chicken strips. You want chicken and waffles? Make it easy. Get a chicken strip. Make your waffles fresh.
I think when you're putting your skewer together, all right, a smaller waffle and a chicken strip as opposed to a chicken leg.
Right. That's why I went this direction. And you can always pour a little bit of syrup over it so that it absorbs off, and then put it on your Bloody Mary.
So last week our food was, you're going to love this. Last week on our show, our food was bar foods, and I had a boneless chicken wing for my taste. My wife, because she got out of work late, just says, hey, I'm going to run by the store and pick up some food. She picks up for me chicken wings. You got to love it when, my wife doesn't get to watch the show live. She has to watch the replay because of her work. So anyway, so she doesn't know what I was doing live. Hey, my next recipe is I'm going to go with what I have. All right. And I'm going to do some shaking onto it, but I'm going to add, thank you, Mr. Tim Smith. All right. From Moonshiners for his Climax Moonshine.
Nice.
Which all the commercially bought moonshines, this is my favorite. So I'm not going to add as much to it because I know it sweetens the pot when you use moonshine. So I put maybe a shot in there.
Okay.
I'm going to do my shaker.
because you're really good with that.
No, I suck at shaking, and I hate it. And I hate it because I make so much noise. But Gwen, like her martinis,
Uh-huh.
shakes and shakes and shakes and shakes and shakes.
Shaken, not
shakes
stirred.
and shakes 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 and shakes. You get the idea, all right? Because I can go on for 10 minutes for one martini.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
I almost got the little gherkin. Have you ever used the gherkin pickles? They're slightly sweeter.
Yes. Gwen got me gherkin pickles, but they were sweet, not dill. I like dills in my Bloody Marys.
Right.
So as I show you this one here with the moonshine, I'm going to show you the color on this one's going to be a lot different than the color was on my original vodka. That's the color a Bloody Mary should look.
Right. It looks beautiful. I love your celery stalk there. You did
celery stalk, my own, yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, by doing it with moonshine, it should come out a little sweeter.
Okay. So on my end, it was in honor of my friend Mary. I made a Bloody Maria.
Bloody Maria now is with tequila, right?
Correct. I'm using El Jimador Tequila Reposado.
Yep.
So that
in May we will be doing tequilas because let's face it, Cinco de Mayo.
Yep. Yep.
Speaking of doing things in future episodes, what are we doing next week?
We were debating what we were going to do because we want to talk football, but it's also a time of year where many are going to be doing V-Day.
Going out for dinner. Yeah. And yes, we will be doing our episode on we will be recording live on February 14th. Gwen and I celebrate Valentine's Day over the weekend before because we're not always in town together during a week. So, and I think you said Sean and you were like doing something different.
Yeah, he works during the. He doesn't get off work till 6:30. So
no. And in your guys' case, all right, this is like the end of my night. In you guys' case, you're still finishing work up there.
Right. Yeah, because we're 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
And plus, it's we depending on the time of day, it can take me up to an hour or over an hour to get up to him, and sometimes it's a half hour, no problem. And other times, normally it's about a 40-minute drive. So we'll see where we're at, but we know who we are in our relationship, so it's okay. We show each other love at other times, so it doesn't necessarily have to be on a specific date. So this time,
Gwen and I we would make something at home. We would not go out on Valentine's night. Oh my God!
Yeah, craziness. That's craziness. Yeah, no. If anything, I'd be cooking. So I decided to go with the one with the skewers and the protein at the end.
What cheeses do you have on that one?
I have a sharp cheddar.
Okay, your yellowish one.
Yeah, and then this one over here is a sharp white cheddar.
All right, and are those cherry tomatoes?
They are, but they're the specific other ones. So this one's like a traditional cherry. This one is one of those like that looks like a little heirloom. So that comes in the multiple colors in the package. It's like $5 for the little package, and it's got the ones that look more purple, the ones that have yellow and red, and all sorts of colors. So it's more of a, the heirloom type. So
would you consider putting a pepper jack cheese on your skewer for Bloody Marys?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think pepper jack would go well, especially with like a Bloody Maria. That goes well. Even the mozzarella string cheese, or not the string cheese, but just the mozzarella stick.
Just a mozzarella, even a mozzarella ball. Yeah.
Yes, that would be perfect on this. There is so much food you can put on this stuff. It's really, what do you like? What do you want to eat with it? What do you want to try? There's nothing wrong with playing and trying different things and putting different flavors in there. It's what do you enjoy? That's the biggest thing. What do you enjoy?
That's to me, that is the truth. I love going to, and I gotta say, well, some of my influences for my Bloody Mary, putting beef jerky or Slim Jims in my Bloody Mary. My influence there came from the Harley Davidson Museum when my wife and I got engaged.
Oh, okay.
They actually had Slim Jims in the Bloody Mary at the restaurant at the Harley Davidson Museum
Okay.
in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That gave us our idea there. However, the pickles. I want the dill pickles. Now here's my dill pickles. Like I do the Spears, but I do Mount Olive.
Mm.
I am picky. I am picky on my pickles, right? But my pepperoncinis, these are just Kroger brand pepperoncinis, right?
Okay.
And I think my Queen Olives are Kroger brand as well, right?
Yeah, actually, I think mine are Kroger brand also. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
My
signature
dill
brand.
pickles, I am big on Mount Olive. The dill pickle idea I got, and I want to say I was in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And in Phoenix, Arizona, I was at a bar, restaurant, brunch type place. And while I was there, they had a Bloody Mary menu. Like they had 14 different Bloody Marys. And I chose the one that day. I was there with Jason Nast, a good friend of mine from Phoenix. All right. Who I met through Craig in the mastermind. And he actually took me to this bar for breakfast because him and I just did a joint event. And then a Sunday morning, we met there to actually have breakfast and have Bloody Marys. And they had one that was called, oh gosh, was it called? It was called like something anti-ghost or anti-witch. Well, I mean, what do they call when you're trying to scare a witch away? And it was loaded with garlic.
Oh.
And then they had the dill pickle in it. To me, that's where I got my dill pickle. My onion. My onion. Of course, celery. I've always had celery stalks in my stuff, right? But the onion was the Bloody Mary I had in New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay. And I, you would think I would have had it garlic and onion, all right, but I didn't, right? The pepperoncini olive, all right, and it was actually bacon, and they also had a pickle. They had the celery, they had the onion, they had all that in San Francisco, California, one of the piers.
Oh, okay.
By the aquarium, the pier by the aquarium. It was one of those, like, you walk in off of the sidewalk type bars, and it's like a pier building, but you walk in and it's a nice bar. Right? Okay. I can't remember the name of the bar to save my life, but it was right on the pier, right outside the aquarium. If it's still there because of the pandemic, it may not still be there.
You never know.
Say that, yeah. But that's where I got a lot of my influences from around the world, having different Bloody Marys. I will always have a piece of meat because of the Harley Davidson Museum.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of protein in there. I think that's important. It's and with this one, the pickle went very well. I like the cheese with it. It just had this richness to it. It's when it comes to Bloody Marys, there was a restaurant that's no longer there. It's now something else, but they at one point had a Bloody Mary bar, and you can create your own toppings. Really, they had so many different options that it's like, oh my goodness. I've done carrot sticks. Oh my goodness, I love carrots. So that's something else you can add on there, and you can use it if you only have toothpicks. If you don't have the skewers, use toothpicks. And then if you have a nice sturdy celery stick or carrot stick or a cucumber, cut into fours, if it's nice and strong, you can then put the toothpick into it to hold your garnish. So don't feel that you just have to, place it on top. You can spear it in there, whatever's going to hold it. And then you can dip it in there into your Bloody Mary mix and pull it out, or eat it separately. It depends, and give people the option, having those pre-made skewers if you're having a gathering, and have people have what they want. Anything that's pickled. So your pickled asparagus or your little pickled onions, the pearl onions, anything pickled will do very well with the Bloody Mary.
Oh, we had pickled beans in
green beans?
Yeah, green beans in New Orleans. And because we were in New Orleans, we had to get on a plane. We didn't buy any because we know with liquid, you're going to have a hard time getting on a plane with non-checked bags. We came back. It took us weeks to find them here in Dallas. Wow. Well,
Did you try Kroger? Because I did see him at Kroger yesterday.
no, I didn't try Kroger looking, but our Kroger didn't have them.
Okay.
However, one of the things I do in my old fashions is a spiked cherry.
Right.
Kroger doesn't have the spiked cherries. I got to go to Tom Thumb or Safeway, what you have to get them.
Right. Okay.
No. No. When it
Yeah,
comes to olives and martinis, though, Gwen wants a Gwen in her martinis. She always wants the blue cheese stuff. I can't stand blue cheese olives. So you make it with blue cheese. You make my martini with blue cheese olive juice. I'll spit it out and throw it up.
I'm right there with you.
Traditional, but I will have a jalapeno stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those I will do. I will do jalapeno. The garlic one is delicious because this stuffed garlic one was not overly garlicky. It had a nice flavor, but it wasn't the garlic. And it's, again, because it's been pickled, so it has a different flavor. But yeah, don't give me anything blue cheese. I don't care for blue cheese.
I don't either. Not in my drinks.
I don't like it, period, let alone in my drink. But I definitely did enjoy my my chicken and waffles.
Yeah. So, good evening, Robert. Thanks for joining our show tonight, man. So you mixed it with the tequila. What's the difference in taste off of the vodka, comparing it to the vodka?
I feel it right back here. It enhances the tomato. The tomato just comes out. It's like this bold flavor of tomato. And the tequila hits right back here. It's like I can feel it in the back of my throat. Yeah. This one's good too.
So the Moonshine Mary took your tomato sauce, took your tomatoes from a tomato
to a sweet fruit.
To a to when I say sweet, I mean like it made it to like a marinara sauce. That's how it twisted your tomatoes to a marinara type tomato recipe as opposed to a V8 recipe.
Right.
Yeah. Where it sweetens it. And that's the corn. That's because your major thing in moonshine is corn.
So it's gonna skew. Yeah, like this one, it brought out all the florals, a more garden flavor. I was tasting bell peppers in there with the gin. And I think it's that elderberry and all the, that's in there, the juniper that just made the a little bit of bell pepper in the blood in the V8 just come out. I think that's what it was. Cause I'm like, why is this tasting like bell pepper garden? And it's because it really brought out all the florals off the V8. This one, just has that nice flavor where the vodka just blends just beautifully in with your mix. This one gives it those florals, just brings it out. And then the tequila, this one just gives it a kick. It's like, boom, here's a tomato. Here's everything that you want to spike out. And I didn't even give it a full shot into this one. I actually toned it down because I know that tequila is a little bit more in your face.
So, to you guys, the listeners, all right, what is it that you put in your Bloody Mary mix? Do you buy it from the store or do you make your own mix? We will put in the Facebook group, we will on the Facebook page, we will put our recipes. Gladys will put hers and I'll put mine on the Facebook page so you guys can copy ours and then you can doctor it if you don't have your own recipe. But I don't know about you, Gladys, but as far as me, I recommend the listeners actually try to create your own.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun with it.
And what you want to do is just start with 1 cup. Don't try to make a whole pitcher.
No.
Start with 1 cup. Measure 1 cup, play with that cup, get a mason jar. This one I think was I think this was a marinara sauce because I always doctor everything up. So I always start with the base and then I do my own thing. But I believe this was a just because of the lid. I'm like, oh, I think this was a marinara. So just any type of jar that you may have, that way it's easy to shake.
Mm-hmm.
Put the lid on there, pour it in there, and then just shake it.
Yeah. So I use ball mason jars. I have them in several different sizes, but I have these ball leak-proof solid
Yep.
piece lids because I use them for all my drinks. I actually make my iced tea in the summertime in a ball mason jar.
Oh, I love my mason jars. I've been made fun of that it's like your mason jars, and now they're more popular. You can find Mason brand at Freddy's. It's like, really, it's just the funniest thing.
Well, let's talk about when you like to go have your Bloody Marys with breakfast, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the one place you go to have breakfast to have Bloody Mary? It's your go-to place. You and Sean go, we're going out for breakfast. We're having Bloody Marys and breakfast. Where is it?
Oh my goodness. We don't even go out. We usually see, my thing is, I would rather make breakfast at home. I'm very much make breakfast at home. I love getting up on a Sunday morning and making bacon and eggs and potatoes, or pancakes and bacon and eggs. It's just, for me, I can have exactly what I want, a variety of what I want. There's this little restaurant we did go to, but they didn't have any Bloody Marys, which was kind of disappointing. It's we need to figure out a place that we can go to. What was
I don't know
Robert?
about that one, Robert. So when it comes to Bloody Marys, all right, I like to go to places that have brunch, not breakfast, brunch.
Brunch.
All right. There are several places we go for brunch, and this past weekend, like the event that I was stuck at because of snow and ice here in Dallas, there was only one restaurant open, and they had the menu, which was the same for everything. So it's one printed menu, and they listed their Sunday brunch.
Okay.
And one of the things they had was what they called Cowboy Eggs Benedict.
Okay. What's a Cowboy's Eggs Benedict?
The problem is I never got to taste it because my job is not done at that event until after Sunday afternoon. All right. Because I have to pack up everything from that event because I work it every year. All right. To go home. So I couldn't go over and have that. But it is your typical muffin, egg, Benedict sauce, with Texas brisket, and pepper jack cheese. I'm sorry,
wow.
I got to go back up there to try that. I'm sorry, that's just like
brisket. Oh my goodness, that.
To me, though, going out for someplace, because I don't like Gwen has tried to make eggs Benedict home, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but I am saying that's one of those things I like to go out for.
Yes.
And I like the people who create their eggs Benedict around like something like the area. All right.
Yeah.
So the eggs, not just typical eggs Benedict, but I go to some place they have, bacon eggs Benedict. They have one place I went to actually had a crab cake Benedict.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes. You go to places like that with a creative eggs Benedict, that's where I want my Bloody
Mary. So now that you mentioned that, one of the best places here in Portland for eggs Benedict, and they have multiple ones, is at the Nines. It's on the 9th floor of this hotel, and they have the restaurant, but they also have a bar area they usually open that up, and then they have a deck area. But the Nines, the place is just nice to walk into, and their eggs Benedict, oh my goodness, that is to share, because if you order eggs Benedict, you're not going to finish it. You're only going to eat one half because the darn thing is so big. And they put avocado in there, and they put like double Canadian bacon, and then the sauce on top, the hollandaise. It's like absolutely delicious. But that is one place that, for eggs Benedict, the Nines, that would be the place. And they do have Bloody Marys there. Only I've usually been there for a business breakfast, so I've not yet to taste it. But yes, they do have options. They have a full bar.
So usually we get, there's one breakfast place that we used to go to. We haven't really in a while because it changed ownership.
Okay.
was a local breakfast place that we went to for years. And we used to get their mimosas because they made it with real orange juice. They squeezed the
Oh,
oranges out. Yeah.
nice. Okay.
The other place that we've been going to for brunch is Crew Wine Bar. Well, they're not going to have a Bloody Mary at Crew Wine Bar. It's a wine bar. It is not a bar, right?
Right.
But I do have to say, one of the best places I ever had a brunch, breakfast, Bloody Mary was in Chicago in 2018.
Wow. Okay.
All right. May of 2018. My wife was there for 2 conferences. She was there for like the Becker Health Conference, and then she started another conference on Monday or Tuesday. I went up and joined her. I got there on Thursday or Friday, stayed with her at the end of the Becker Conference, and then we moved to hotels twice during that stay.
Of
We
course.
moved hotels to a place we could use our points at. Just up, I couldn't tell you the neighborhood to save my life. Forgive me for that, you Chicago listeners, right? But we got up on Sunday morning and it's like, let's just walk and see what we can find.
Yeah.
Before we grab an Uber, let's walk and see what we can find. And literally, we didn't walk a block, and this was like an old-fashioned corner shopping center that had all the windows of the shop around it. So, like, you walked inside, you had windows everywhere, right?
Cool.
No.
Nice. Okay.
When we walked in and they're like, you guys serve brunch? Yes, we do. We'll take 2 seats in a booth, right? And we sat in a booth and had Bloody Marys. I'll bet you I had sausage. I can't remember what I had, but to me, that's going out for a Bloody Mary for breakfast. When you're in that foreign town, you're looking for the place that has the experience for breakfast and the experience for the Bloody Mary.
I have a slow cooker. Ooh.
All right. Yeah, I had a slow cook function, and I had a way to keeping it moist while still venting it so you could smell it. I assume that was his Tiger Rice cooker doing roast. So yeah. Anyway.
Yum.
Wow.
So I will have to say that if you are having the red snapper, do not have it with any type of seafood. It did not go well with the shrimp.
No.
The Bloody Maria, absolutely. Yes, it tasted good. It's like almost like a shrimp cocktail that's been deconstructed. And then with your traditional vodka, it also goes well. Seafood goes well with the gin, not so much. The chicken and waffles went well with it.
Okay.
As did the cheese, but not the seafood. So I tasted it and I went, oh, I did not like that. So yeah, sometimes you just got to pair it. I had to taste it. I had a feeling it wasn't going to go well, but I had to taste it just to give it a chance. And I didn't like it.
All right. Well, we learned a lot about Bloody Marys this week. All right. Because we made our own. We did not just go to the store and buy this. We made this, ladies and gentlemen. And we researched and come up with recipes. We will both put our recipes in the Facebook page. So if you have not gone and liked our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/LadyG and MrT podcast. Please go like our page as well as our YouTube channel. All right. If you can actually go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, timgillette.com/LadyG and LadyG MrT YouTube will take you to our YouTube channel. Help us by subscribing there so that we can get our domain name. Right now, we have LadyG and MrT.com, and someday we will build a website around it. So we will put all these recipes on our website, blog posts, as well as load every episode in video and audio form.
Yep. And we're 10 subscribers shy on YouTube. So please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's going to be awesome. It's going to help us out, which then is going to help y'all out.
Mm-hmm. So,
and I will have to say with Robert, please let us know the chips that you put in the freezer. Do you just throw the whole bag in the freezer or do you lay it out on a sheet pan? Because I almost did that. I have the chips. Now I just need to know how to freeze them so they don't stick together.
So in March, we are going to do, all right, we're going to try it this year. I think maybe March, but we're going to try to do a listener's choice drink where you're going to tell us the drink and Gladys and I are going to go research it and make it. And I think we're going to do it in March if we got enough listeners. If not, we may move it to June. But guys, it's something we want to be able to do every year that we can do you guys suggest a drink. We've got to go learn it and make it for the
We will make it for you on camera. That's
Yep.
going to make it interesting because
Yep,
I'm
it
going to
will.
make a mess.
Yeah, we are both going to make a mess because we both do this from our offices, not our kitchens.
I made a mess in my own kitchen trying to make this. I mean, there was like tomato juice everywhere. It was like, oops, it was like everywhere. And I go, well, got to clean that.
Yeah. So, but in the meantime, guys, we do appreciate you guys coming in. This is only our 11th episode. We are having fun doing this. All right. We know that we're pretty sure this will grow. All right. We don't have outside subscribers. All right. Our outside sponsors to the show. No alcohol company is sponsoring our show. No bars, nothing like that. This is all based on Gladys's and my interest in what we like to taste every week. Our businesses sponsor this show. It's because of Gladys's business and my business that we created this show. My business is Simple Easy Marketing. I help people with content marketing online. Go to simpleeasyevents.com. And Gladys's business is about insurance, and I'll have her tell you about it.
Insurance by design. If you go to insurancedesignpros.com, you'll get all the info. But essentially, I help small businesses that have less than 50 employees with their employee benefits, as well as life insurance in the states of Oregon, Washington, and California. Very specific as to where I can write.
I know. The insurance has that game, doesn't it? But you know, wait a minute. But you know what doesn't have the game?
Blogging and blogging and videos.
No. Is our alcohol. They drink that around the world, Gladys.
Yes, they do. Yeah. And the only problem we have sometimes is that I can't get what Tim gets and he can't get what I get. And what I don't get about that is we're both controlled states.
Yes.
So we should be getting the same stuff. So, I'm just saying.
As Robert says, rules upon rules. Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah.
And another rule is don't drink and drive. Be safe out there, y'all.
Yes. And if you do have a drinking problem, ladies and gentlemen, all right, please enjoy the Bloody Mary mix, all right, and get help. If you are addicted to anything, we strongly suggest that you get help, all right, and don't make this a bad habit that could ruin your life. Agree? Even my co-host agrees. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. We will see you next week where we will talk about Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl together.
Is that not a great combination? Hello. Our love for football. Oh, wait.
It is me. Our listeners might think so.
Go rounds?
Yep. No.
Bengals?
I'm still on Go Chiefs. I haven't let go.
Okay. Yeah. Next week, you're going to be going Go Chiefs, and everybody's all like, really?
Who? Yeah. You know that river that runs down south called
the Denial? Oh,
Denial? Yeah, that's my river.
In Denial?
Denial. Yeah, I am. So, all right. Guys, have a great week. We will see you guys next week.